Okay, welcome back, folks. It's that time again. It's time to get down and dirty with the worms. So we're back in my little wormery, my little corner of the basement. And today, what we're going to do is harvest this tray here. And what we've got standing by are a couple of pots that have been aging for a number of days now. 37 days on the pots and 44 days now on the tray. So these environments have been pre-built and left to sit to make them kind of settle in and become cozy. So let's get going. Hopefully it won't take too long, but and now this one fits pretty neatly into the top of the other one, and with the screen that I put in place, I'm able to separate the castings from the parts of the material that haven't been broken down. Okay, I don't see too much activity here on the surface. Now, in the case of this bin, it's been, like I mentioned earlier, 100 days since it was populated with worms. Okay, so we've taken a good, I'd say, third out. A third of this is, if you can see, the bin. The bin, from where I could tell, is now this far full with some pretty nice castings. Some of the items that seem to make it through are the stems of leaves. No big deal. Nothing's sticking. Everything's just very dry and flaky and separating beautifully. So far, this much stuff has been reclaimed. All stuff that can just go back into bins. Hopefully, less and less of this will come up, but I actually think there's still quite a fair amount of it on the bottom. And it's for that reason I'm thinking I'm going to kind of turn this whole thing around, try to get all that up to the top so I could separate it as early as possible, and then get all the, somehow get the castings. I don't know, I'm not sure how to go about this. I just don't want to have like all the worms inside of all the cardboard in the bedding. I'd like to have give them a chance to separate from the bedding, and then let me sift the bedding away from, separate from the worms. But there's still maybe just, I don't know, I'm not sure how to do that yet. So maybe the best thing is just to try to turn it over and get the stuff that's kind of filled with worms, some of this stuff, and you get it to the top and help it depopulate so we can sift it for castings. And let the worms dive down. Almost makes me want to use less bedding in the future. It just seems like so much to sift through. But at least the stuff isn't lurking on the bottom. At least we're giving it a chance to see daylight, or see light, and let the worms exit the material so that the stuff can be separated and sifted. Okay, so we're not really left with a pile of worms the way I had hoped, or the way I thought. But basically we have a fairly wormy, well worm populated vermicompost, almost a whole 5-gallon bucket of it, quite a bit. And then what we're left with here, which should have been just like a clean, leftover chunks of, you know, undigested foods, turned out to be much more of a commingled mix of worms. So somehow it's going to be necessary to sort this stuff up in such a way that I fairly or evenly distribute the worm population. So let's do that next. I'll get set up. Okay, well, that's the end of the show. Thanks for sticking along and keeping me company. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up. And I guess we'll probably be doing this very soon on that next bin. And man, I gotta think about how to do this, because it just didn't really turn out the way I expected, not like the way I remember doing it in the past, where the worms would all kind of congregate and then I'd have kind of a big lump of worms. This time I don't know what it was. I don't know. Maybe it was the fresh bedding getting mixed in with the very fine and mature compost. Something on the separation or the sifting method or something, but I don't know. Any feedback would be appreciated on the topic, so I'm always open to anything constructive, obviously. So that's it. Once again, thanks for joining along, and come back again. Thank you for watching. Have a great day. Bye.